Hello, I'm Pastor Gary from Anchorage, Alaska, and I want to do some YouTube videos that we want to call The Gospel in 5. We want to try to give you a word of encouragement in 5 minutes or under, something to kind of help you through your day, and we trust God to be with you and to anoint these messages that'll be something that would encourage your heart to serve Him. Our text today is found in the book of James, chapter 5, and actually starting with verse 19, we'll kind of shorten some of our reading. And I'll start reading there. It says, "Brethren, if any of you do err from the truth and one convert him, let him know that he which converteth the sinner from the error of his ways shall save the soul from death and shall hide a multitude of sins." And I was studying this out one day, and I really felt like the word multitude, without taking away from Scripture, could also be generation. Because we do know that when people come to God, it changes the course of their family. You could have a family that's in a lot of trouble and struggling to have peace in their life. Children may be gone astray, things of that nature. And we see people come into church, to a good church, really give their life, dedicate their life to Christ. And what we see is it not only affects them, it affects their children. Now the home life is different. The discipline of the children, sometimes there is no discipline, but adding things in, structure, things of that nature. And then we've seen families for years where mom and dad get saved. The kids would all get saved and start serving God. And then even grandkids would do that. It would kind of change the course of an entire family. And so I wanted to concentrate just for a few minutes on that today and kind of share some thoughts that I have with you. If you'll allow me to use the word generation in the place of the word multitude. And I think we can do that without doing Scripture any harm. I've had friends before that would get saved in church services somewhere, give their life to Christ, turn everything around. And I would ask them, later on, how has this affected your family? And they'd go on to tell me that very profound effect on their family. Some were very close to actually ending their marriage and going different directions. They'd come to God and He would straighten all that out and make their marriage stronger than ever. And they would even go on to have other children that probably would not have been born had they continued in the course of life that they were doing. And so the thought occurred to me about this, that we know God does all the saving. We're not here to take any glory for that today. But there's a very strong word of encouragement here in God's Word that I'll remind you of. I've already read it to you, but I'll remind you of it in just a minute. And that God does the saving. We're just here to be instruments for Him, regardless of what branch of Christian service that you serve in, what church, regardless. We're just instruments. But you have the ability, through God leading you, to actually change the course of people who hadn't even been born yet. If you'll look at it in the context of generations, because that's really what happens. There is a multitude of sins that is hid. There is a multitude of that person continuing on in the direction of their life that they were already going, and usually it goes from worse into worse into worse, and then ultimately ending in some kind of tragedy to that person's life being completely transformed by the power of God. And so that course changes. And so the multitudes that they would have committed, they no longer commit anymore. And if you know the generational part, if you just think of it on this wise, that they actually it actually does change the course of their family. And sometimes there are kids yet to be born, and certainly grandchildren yet to be born, that the decision that mom or dad would make during that many years ago sometimes would affect the lives of their children and grandchildren. And so, but by that I mean, I think we can affect the course, we can change the course of people's lives who haven't even been born yet. And so, I'm going to finish our real quick lesson today with a thought, and that leads us back to our Scripture. This is all God. God does everything in everyone's life. We're just instruments. But God's Word does tell us this. God's inspired Word does tell us this at the beginning of verse 19. It says, "Brethren, if any of you do err from the truth and one convert him." So we're actually the one going out in the conversion process. The Lord saves them. But it goes on to say, "Let him know that he which converteth the sinner of the error of his ways." And so we're supposed to We're supposed to realize that ourselves. It's a very sobering thought as to how much really depends on us as men and women, Christian men and women in the service of God, that we could actually go out and make that kind of profound difference in someone's life. But we're supposed to know. God's Word is telling us today, and I'm relaying that unto you, that you need to know that whenever you help someone get on the right path of serving God, then it changes the course not only of their family, but of people, multitudes of people, generations of people that have yet to be born. That is my word of encouragement for you today. This is Pastor Gary from Anchorage, Alaska. God bless you.